You sent it in an email?
Yeah. That's why. That's what happens when you disable accounts here. Okay. So if you're looking at the number of modules that exist in MLISA, you'll see here. So we have an administration module. We have a clean product chartering desk. We have a dirty product. Actually, it's clean petroleum products versus dirty petroleum products. We have a chemical. We have a freight swap module. Operations is the tracking side. Services is going to be reports. We have Singapore operations and a special projects group.
Got it.
Okay. So if we're looking at, you can open any one of those profiles, and that will show you basically, this is one of the screens that we have. This is an alerting screen.
Yep.
So I'll give you a little bit more visual on here. So you have, and I'll open up each individual one here. I don't know why that's not responding at this point. I'll keep that off to the side. All right. Well, there you go.
Oh, hey. I'm good. I'm good. I see your email. I guess you hadn't read it earlier. I was kind of a little unsure what Andrew email was.
Fixtures. Let's hold me back here.
And I sent a text after the son, and I said,
All right. How about that? I killed it.
okay.
Nope. Go back to that.
Yeah, I did.
All right. So you see the post fixtures alert that comes up there, and I'm just going to take a look. So administration, we had some code maintenance, company maintenance, some import capabilities, some user maintenance. So these are very simple maintenance screens.
Yeah.
Okay. Not very exciting. Sets of tabs in there. So those are all the codes that are in there. Very simple. I mean, this is nuts and bolts. So I would tend to think that this is degree of complexity versus number of components in here. But like I said, it's a very straightforward add, delete, full CRUD code maintenance.
Got it. Yep.
All right. We have. I'm going to go into the quick update screens. So we have some a series of screens like this, and this is what a lot of people are interacting with on a daily basis. Close. Show fixtures, show positions. So we have a component in here which allows you to switch locations here, positions and fixtures. We can do some quick updating on a vessel in particular. You can start to look at. That's enough. No, how about that wasn't enough?
Otherwise, you, if you accept to the story of on the share.
So you can select a vessel. The vessel is going to retrieve some metadata about it, sizing information. It can tell you where it is presently. So this is position information on the ship in itself. You can add new positions as you move. I'm not going to change any of it. This is actually production data, so I'm not going to change anything in here.
Are all the positions manually entered, or is there any integration? Okay.
They're all manually entered at this point.
Okay.
So let's see, position, quick position. Obviously, I can't enter all the information in here, but then there's going to be a from to location. There's some tracking, and it actually will project out the positions as you enter more information. S&P, sale of purchase. This is basically on the sale of specific ships. So you can actually track through, get some pricing information for it. You can actually post it for sale or withdraw from sale. What was the name of that ship? I'll do this. Let's keep it the same ship. Actually, that was a tough one. That wasn't never for sale. It sold back in. No, that's the current date. And details around the sale, individual sale. All that. Here's a quick position, a fixture update. I can tell you.
That's why I set my text.
Let's go back. Use the same chip. So within a fixture, you can actually locate the certain types of fixtures, whether it's a single or it's a time charter or a number of others. That will drive some other business rules in terms of whether it's private. You end up having to drop what the cargo is. Once again, this goes back to the code of maintenance. We have a type of ship that this is. I don't know why we'd be able to provide change of detail that's in there. You have the weight. So basically, you have a potential ship, and you have who's going to be running the charter. So we can actually do. And those are the companies that would have the cargo to go from location A to location B.
Okay.
Right? You can mark it as private or secure. You can, as I think I hit this already, type of cargo that you have on there. Here you have loading ports and discharge ports. So I could say U.S. Gulf going to, it's loading in the U.S. Gulf, and I can say the UK continent. You'll see a number of details thrown out there. Most importantly, it'll understand because it knows the geographical locations of these two. It'll set up the duration for that location. And then the rest of these are drop downs. So really there's not a heck of a lot of complexity to this other than this calculation screen. And this grid that's actually tied into this specific vessel.
Mostly data capture, but then there are some.
I'm sorry, mostly data capture, but I'm sorry?
But it looked like there were some business rules and calculations on the one previous.
There are certain ones that are in there. It's not incredibly onerous in terms of what's being entered in here. I guess you can create new messages on there. But you can see how a number of these are independent. If you start to take a look at vessels, you'll be able to see. So these top pieces are more search screens.
Yep.
So you'll see grid. You can actually drive what the search criteria is off of it. You can define a search criteria based on specific attributes to the fixture in itself or the vessel in itself. And you can build these sets of searches that would just drive that result set there. So if I'm looking specifically at a specific user, everything entered by a specific user. If I was to say, I want to load US Gulf, right? I can drive that to all fixtures that are coming in. Yes.
Let's dive into it.
So I just drove a big search. Right, so this is everything that's come in since '96
Wow.
to now on the U.S. Gulf. And there's a number of screens that are driven this way. Sorry.
And what do the colors mean?
There's certain coding in here that will be ours versus others, or the status of it. So I guess this is in progress, or if we're because it's secure.
Okay.
So I can go back here, and I think this is a private. Yep.
Okay.
So that just drives certain data access rules. And then you'll see in here, there's a whole bunch of hours in here. So there's certainly business rules around that. Where else can I go here? Looking at a specific position, fixture. We went through this quick update before. There's a few additional details in here around notes. but it's pretty much the same set of details around there. Trying to get to where the, the vessels. Oh, here's a vessel. So once again, same type of search screen. This is going to pull up a, should pull up the vessel detail here. There you go. It's a little bit more complicated in the fact that you have some fixed detail data, and then you have some linked detail data. All the fixture history for this ship, the various positions that have been reported on this vessel, any list of the names that this vessel has come under, any sales information, and just some overall information on just some note. Trying to find out where the attachments are. Here are the attachments. But they are, you have master and then a set of detail tables in here as well. And this is a document. So you can attach Word documents, you can attach emails to this, and then you can file sets of emails in here. If we've supported this ship in if it's any of our fixtures, then we'll actually track through the success or the history of those various voyages that we've supported operationally. And then alerts. Alerts are going to be on a so anytime that in a post-fixture world there's a set of alerting that basically tasks or follow-ups on specific journeys to file, say, additional charges or to state how much time has been spent in specific ports, or to file claims against the voyage in itself. So there's some task reminders and follow-ups once a voyage has been completed that closes out the transaction.
All right.
So, where else? We have this ports module that are actually we're working with the current development team. They're sizing this up. So I didn't provide additional detail to this, and that is that this development firm is based in London. We have access, we have ownership to all the code, and we're working through hopefully a joint development effort where they would provide, say, access to the business logic or the data access layers for us, and then we'd put the web front end on it. And they're doing certain components, like this ports component is in the hopper right now.
So they still have some things that they're in the process of building out.
Yes, they're continuing to build out right now. They're building a separate module right now on the web interface, but any new code or any run and maintain code is actually all in Delphi. I'm trying to get that migrated over. Trying to think of where else we can get this. Fixtures, inquiries, that's that. Sales. These are overlapping modules. In effect, it's I'm not going to run that search, but in effect, it's a same search definition screen. Same search definition screens. You can save the searches over time. I like these big searches, by the way, just so we can get into 1970. These are when these were all built.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you can actually get into individual vessels. So I don't know a deeper way to get into this, what's beneficial to you.
So far, I mean, what you've been doing is actually perfect, just trying to give us a sense of what's there. What you started, you went to a module screen. And what are like, I want to get a sense of the difference between the modules. Like you mentioned what they are, but are you capturing different data for for the different modules? How are they different?
So they'll capture various aspects of the industry itself. So you'll have a vessels module that will track any of the detail related to that vessel. Configuration, ownership, position. And you can do that on a one-off basis. Anything that transacts about that vessel, if it has position is basically a report on the availability of a ship. So, out on the market, position will say, on July 13th, I'll be in New York Harbor.
Okay.
Based on that information, then you and the configuration of the ship in itself, you can actually look to broker a trip or voyage for it, fixture for it, saying, okay, if you're a tanker and you're approved to go to Baton Rouge, then you're an option to take this oil down to this refined product down to Baton Rouge. And then they'll negotiate based on size, based on restrictions, based on product history, the set of ships that would be candidates for that voyage. So on a vessel side, once you have that fixture, you're tracking where it's going, who it's been conducting business with, and like I said, if it's been sold or not. And that goes, all that additional detail goes into the qualification process for placing business. The other module is going to be the fixtures module. Fixtures is basically aligning a ship, a cargo, ship owner, locations, and type of cargo. And from that, you can actually determine where that ship will be. You'll get a full history around that ship as well. So fundamentally, if you're looking at this from a module perspective, one of the root modules is going to be a vessel. A port module is going to be a root module because it's fixed and it's based. That drives a lot of other ancillary data. In terms of, even though those are fundamental, some of those pieces are a little bit more complex. So looking at a development, in order of development, we would look at potentially these sets of quick updates first, because all the fundamental pieces are there, and they're not as complex from a business rule perspective as a vessel or a post-fixture module.
Got it.
Right. I mean, pretty much what you're looking at is a lookup on a vessel, details about it, a position on that vessel. So, yeah. I could say here's a new position for it, and it's going to be over on, like I said, 7/15/2016, right? Tracking who entered it, when it was entered, what type of business it does. Like I said, here is some last cargo.
Yep.
Right. There are some business rules indicating why that's an invalid date, but that'll be based on I think where it is, or if it's in yeah, based on where it is, and you can associate notes with it, certainly.
Yep.
So we would look, as I said, we look to incrementally. This is a component that has high use, but it has a fair amount of simplicity to it. Another piece to it is, say, I just did the position up there. A fixture quick update. So then, once again, you're tracking. There's a bunch of lookups in here. There are some dependencies in terms of driving some durations based on the load and discharge locations. So, you know, as an example, from point A to point A, there's no duration.
Yep.
If I do a U.S. Gulf to Atlantic crossing, 32 days, and that's all based on there's a ballast matrix in there. You can do that lookup.
I got it.
Yeah, pretty straightforward in terms of a lot of the lookups that are in here.
The 3 days in port, is that the standard?
That's a standard default. So you can actually switch that if you wish.
Got it.
So typically, 2 days load, 2 days discharge. What else? What else can I get here? Position list parser, that's an automated process we'd look to keep here. There's a quick fixture update. Once again, these would be post fixtures that I could actually see. I could highlight it, and I can detail any of this information. It's been in a specific location. See, this is all completed. I could do a quick search. No. I could show you the database.
Yeah, I mean, if it's, we don't need to see the details, so if you're able to pull it up, we can take a quick look just to get a sense of quick tables.
I mean, it's probably about 300 separate tables in here.
Yep.
Primarily, they're all lookup tables, and there's maybe 15 to 20 that are where data is entered on a regular basis. Be it vessels, be it fixtures, post fixtures, be it fixtures. I could just show you some of just the nature of the data that's in here. So there's some denormalization that is done as well. There are some certainly lookups in terms of the IDs. I think there's a vessel ID in here. Did I see that? Yeah, vessel ID. Just for my edification. Yes. Okay. So they started to use it. So there's some legacy data in there as well as it migrated through this system. What else would you like to see?
Let me ask you this. How long has the system been used for? How long have you been live with this system?
I'll do a little. Unfortunately, I can't give you probably a better demonstration. Maybe I can get somebody to give you a better demonstration. I've been with the firm about 3 months now. Formally for about a month. So this is running through this is kind of a new piece to me. This application in itself has been running probably about well, you saw 99, so it's been about 2002, I think, is when it first was initially developed. And that's where the Delphi came from.
Got it. Yeah, it's impressive. I mean, it's a long time.
Yeah, it's been around a while.
I mean, at this point, yeah, again, mainly for this initial call, I just wanted to get a little tour, which you've already given us. Mm-hmm. And what I like to do is take this, at the notes, and have an idea of what this is. I like to sit down with our team, go through what the plan is here, and get a sense of what was involved in building out the web application, come back to you with rough time frames and costs.
Right.
Along those lines, do you have any other hard target dates? Are there specific things that you need to start or finish by for this?
We're at the early phases of this right now, obviously, as you can tell by my skill in demonstrating this. You know, I have a number of initiatives that I have under on my plate. I'd like to get moving with this and incrementally develop various components of this through the fall into the new year.
Are you able to get that?
So looking at, as I said, targeting probably position and the fixture, the quick fixture updates and position updates, and looking at potentially making, this is post-fiction, I don't want post-fictions. Looking at these types of grids in here as a trying to push this out so that we can start to take a look at a mobile aspect of it and look at trying to get off of a direct dependency in Citrix that's really driving this effort. But looking at quick fixture update, quick fixture searches, and then position updates as well as really a first as first steps here, and incrementally going through and building it out, getting people used to what we want. The screens themselves are pretty straightforward in terms of some of the searches. Like I said, yeah.
So, yeah, so I guess with that, I think what like I said, what I can do is I can meet with our team, talk through what your goals are, talk through the approach that you just described, the incremental build, see if there are any questions. I think I have a good sense of how we would approach this. And then maybe in a couple days have another conference call and just say, here's how we would approach this project, here are the steps we take, and then, again, we can talk about the cost and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at this point, it's all rough, rough order kind of conversations, and approach would be key.
Yep, yeah, I think that's exactly what we do. We give you some how we'd approach it, give you some rough ideas, and then as we get closer to that's when we might actually start initiating the project, we can drill into a few more details and refine some things.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Now, explain to me some of your capabilities, just while I do have you on the phone.
Yeah. So we've been building web applications, web software applications since the late 1990s. Our primary technologies that we build database-wise is Microsoft SQL Server. So we have a team of about 50 people in our software development group, and nearly every one of them is specializes in SQL Server. On the web application side, everything that we build is uses a responsive methodology, meaning that anything we build is going to work, be formatted to work on desktop computers, tablets, mobile devices, dynamically reformat. Mm-hmm. We use various technologies. So we'll use Microsoft technologies, things like .NET. We will build in C#. We'll build in ASP.NET. We also use some different client-side technologies, things you might have heard of, Angular or other client-side technologies that are for performance reasons.
Right.
And we have various I'll call them things that we use, libraries that we use that help us get things done. That we do QA on, things like we have some ways that we can connect to existing data sources. We've built some templates out that are modular where we can separate the UI layer from the business logic layer from the data layer, where we can use existing data structures like you have here and build user interfaces on top of it. So the type of project that you're talking about here is well within the realm of what we do every day. And so what else would you like to know about us while you have us?
So certainly with, because this is there's an international flavor to this, how construct this for me in terms of performance. How would you build it out? Would you look to containerize it? Would you look to, push data into various availability zones? You have that capability, or is that something in terms of caching remotely? What approaches do you have to address that?
So generally speaking, we can do all of the different approaches that you mentioned. That's where myself, I would like to talk with our team to come up with how they might recommend this. That's not my particular area of expertise, but that's the kind of thing that I rely on our architects to come back to me with. Here's how we would do this, being that it is a global solution. What kind of would it be some kind of replication? Would be pushing
Sure, I don't know what that is. Right.
Okay, so we have the capabilities.
You do. Okay.
All right. And I might be able to scale up some other documents that might give you a little bit more of a sense if that's beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything that you have that or anything you put together that you think will be helpful, please share with us. We'll look at those. And if there are any other questions, especially those where if they're technical in nature, where where it would be useful to talk with our architects and engineers, pass them over to, and I can make sure to get their input.
Okay. How do you run specific engagements? So you size it with your team, but to run you through a little bit of methodology in terms of engaging with the customer and estimation process.
Yep. So the way that we approach it, we go through a multi-stage life cycle, and it starts with discovery and analysis. So what we do in this stage, obviously, we want to understand your requirements, understand the goals. We put together estimates for the overall project. But the estimates that we give you at this point are a range in cost because we need to work through additional details. We give you a fixed cost for next step. So what we would give you a fixed cost for that discovery analysis work in order to drill into like the database, the business rules, to the user. And then we give you a range of X, Y in order to complete the project. And then we use an agile approach of developing the system, whereby we'll typically have 2 to 4 week, what we call sprints, 2 to 5 week sprints, where we'll have releases at each of those, at the endpoints of those, and we'll go through the detailed requirements of what it is will be built next. And in doing that, what we do, we always are, we're providing fixed costs for the next step. That's always refining the range within the estimates that we gave. And the only time we're bringing you outside of those ranges is if we talk about something new, some new requirement that we haven't talked about.
Right.
So our ranges at this point that Fran and I put together are going to be very big. Before we get to the project, we're going to narrow those in some because we'll hash through some of those requirements. And then once we get into the project, we refine them even further as we go. And in doing that, we also have we have sprints where we're releasing things, but they're our sprints typically are releasing and then we'll have what we call phased releases, publishing things to the live application server. So we might do 2, 3, 4 sprints. That might be 2 to 5 weeks. Normally 2 or 3, and then we might release the next module or the next group of functionality out to the live server, which gives you time for beta testing and beta feedback.
Okay.
So that's at a high level. That's our approach. And normally there's an assigned project manager / business analyst that's your contact that works with you through this, as well as a project team. And our project teams are all in-house. I'll mention that. We don't outsource it. So you'll have a lead developer. We'll have engineers that will come in for part of it, and we'll also have a software development team that works on the development aspect.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So, any specific questions on that, or anything else? That we can.
No, you just Fran and I had this conversation. You kind of brought it back to our conversation before. I guess that was earlier or last week. I guess. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I learned a little bit from this too, though. More detail about how we actually do these things,
Oh, good. All right. So you're going to go back to your team, and then
go back.
Days?
So today's Tuesday, so probably the end of this week. What we'll do is we'll send out a link that you can use to schedule the meeting. We might have done that for this meeting.
Yep.
And
no, actually, I just worked through them on the phone. But there's a link I mentioned. You can just plug something in on our calendars.
Probably for late this week, if that works for you. If not, early next week.
Yeah, probably early next week. I think Thursday is filling up at this point.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Excellent.
All right. Well, thank you, guys. Sorry for the technical difficulties.
Not a problem at all. Thanks for all your time.
No problem. All right. Take care.
Have a good one.
You too.